Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to this new Alexa EU Developers Office Hours. My name is Gaetano, and I will be here answering your questions you might have on the Alexa Skills Kit. For the new audience, we do this every 2 weeks on Fridays at 10 a.m. This is more of a special session because it's out of the schedule, and today I will be let's say, helped by an external guest, which is Gold Zulu. So today we're gonna be doing a walkthrough on the Alexa Web API for games, and we will also explain what it is and the infrastructure and let's say implementation required behind this. So I will add the guest to the stream and let him introduce himself. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Good to know. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. So if you want to introduce yourself a bit, so the audience can know you better.
Yes, yes. Hi, everybody. Well, I'm known as Voice That Guy Go Zulu. You can call me Zulu because of my real name, which is embedded within Go Zulu. I've been around for a while, I guess, on evangelizing voice tech. As you know, I do help a bit in the Slack channel, and also during most of the Twitch streams. I'm sort of working behind the scenes. Also, Stack Overflow. Sometimes I do pop into there to answer some questions. But yeah, I really kind of championing voice at the moment, and that's where the space that I'm evolving around, and a little bit on towards the currently the crypto side of it. So the blockchain kind of merging with the voice technology. So games is one of the things that is very passionate, and I think that's why we are going to. I like to sort of help to evangelize a bit more about some of the technologies that not many people know about, such as Skillflow Builder, and also this for today is a web API part for Alexa.
Thank you. So before we get into it, there are already some messages in the chat. So Hawk 2000 says morning all. Hi, good
Hello.
morning to you
Hi.
as well.
Hi.
So
Good
yeah,
morning.
as I mentioned, today we're gonna be doing a walkthrough on the Alexa Web API for games, and let's assume that people don't know about this. So Zulu, would you mind to give an introduction about this and get right into it? I will leave some times by the end of the session to answer some questions. So while we talk, while we do the demo, please feel free to add your comments, and we'll do our best to address them.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, so I'll start off with just giving a little bit of a very high overview about the Alexa Web API. So as you guys know, there are ways in which we need to sort of display on top of the sort of voice first kind of concept that we have for Alexa. We need to sort of show something on the screen, and this is by far the kind of the multimodal concept, where you have screens or sound like Echo shows, particularly Fire TV as well, Echo Fire, or I don't know what they call it, Fire TV, where you can actually display a lot of things on the screen. So most people that has been doing skills are very accustomed to a way of displaying it by using this thing called APL, which I think I think a lot of our skills out there are based, if they were to show something on screen, is based on APL. So with that, the secondary, no, I would call secondary, the other method of displaying stuff on the screen is by using this thing called Alexa Web API. Now, the Alexa Web API currently is only available for games skill. So you need to be have a Alexa a game skill for you to actually be able to use it. So what is it? It's actually a way for you to actually build rich and immersive voice-enabled games by using a combination of Alexa skill directives and familiar web technologies. So web technologies, by what um, uh, basically think about JavaScript, HTML, CSS, so anything that's actually out there. So if you actually kind of from the web 2.0, now we are web 3 as well. So if you're from web 2.0 kind of world, this comes a second nature for you, and there's heaps of templates and documentation and tutorial out there with regards to building games that is using web technology. So we're looking at the several frameworks that you can tap into. So some of the popular frameworks that you can see on JavaScript is the basically the Phaser, which is quite popular, and obviously you have also now something that is a little bit lightweight and a little bit also kind of on the rise in terms of implementation and adoption. It's called Kaboom.js. So I'm going to share my screen, Gaetano, to just run
Yes,
through the diagram. So I think you already have it on the screen,
I do.
but let
But if you
me.
want to share your screen, just
Okay.
I can
Yep. Yep. Yep.
put yours.
Let me just put my screen up, and I have my screen now. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, so the audience is seeing your screen right now.
Okay. Yeah, just a bit of lag on my side. So, okay. So can you see my diagram now?
Yes, your diagram is on the
Okay.
stream now.
All right. Thank you. So, as you can see, this is a very simple diagram, like what Gaetano plug out from that particular page that Gaetano actually show you just now. So, basically, when a person speak and utter something to Alexa, that will be sent as a request, right, towards the cloud, basically the Alexa skill cloud, which kind of process the the speech into something to text, speech to text, and also then taking a look and matching up the intents, which basically okay what to match up about what you want to be doing with that particular commands that you actually send. So this is being done also in the scope of Web API. They actually sends a directive. We're not going to the directive yet. Currently, the specifics of it. This is a high level, but I'll show you in the code later on. Uh, so it actually sends out this directive, basically containing the URL of where that web page is in the cloud, in the internet, that where your game is going to actually sit. So there's actually two components. Yeah. So to give you a better idea, there's actually two parts in any web API implementation. So there is um, the web part of it, which is the web page part of it, right? And there's also the skill part of it, which is your backend skill logic, which is here. I don't know whether we can actually see my cursor running. So the backend skill logic is where you have Alexa doing in the Amazon cloud, basically interpreting your and your commands and stuff like that. And on the web page of it is where the logic that sits to display whatever that's on the screen. So you can actually mix and match the business logic. You can actually have the business logic sit on the Alexa part or the backend Alexa part of it, or the web page part of it. So between the two, it's up to you how you actually want to do it. But the cool stuff is, let's say it actually pulls out. So the utterance is said, the request is made, and then the Alexa, you pass the URL to tell Alexa basically where you want to load the web page, and the web page is being loaded, right? And then once the web page is loaded, there's actually kind of a two-way traffic that happens here between the web page and the device that you have on your home, right? Or that you device that the person is interacting with. So commands can be sent back and forth between the web page from there, as well as also traversing through the backend. So that's kind of yeah, it's a bit hard. Initially, it takes a bit of a learning curve for you to actually know this. But once you get the hang of it, I think it becomes very second nature. Again, as we go along, it'll be a bit more clearer how these come about. So let me go back here. So as I said, there's two parts needed. We have an Alexa custom skill that starts the web app, handles voice requests, and communicates with the app during gameplay. And then we have a web app that can display in the browser and interacts with the users. And one thing that kind of not blow my mind, but initially when I first started this is that the good thing to know is that you can actually build this part independently initially, right? So if you actually have, if you see something which is a good game that you say, hey, that game might look pretty good if you actually show it on, if you have a voice to interact with it, right? So you said any games can have kind of voice interaction to it, maybe, right? So he said, hey, that would look very cool if we actually play it on using voice. You can actually take the code of it. If it's JavaScript of any sort that you can actually display on the website, can host on the web server, most likely you'll be able to then hook up the web API client library to it, and then connect it and integrate it together with your Alexa skills backend. Also, there's the other way is also true. So if you actually have an Alexa skill and that Alexa skill does not have any fancy graphics, right? And then you say, oh no, APL, I don't want to be learning APL. It's might taking too long for me to learn the APL. So you say, okay, but I know how to build a website, right? So you can actually do that. You can actually then, having the voice only Alexa skill, you can then hook it up to a web page that you actually build, and you can animate it using any of the game framework out there, or even even PowerPoint slides, or even just a video going through it, right? So you can actually play back this all to sort of enhance the user experience for your skill voice by adding something to display on the screen. So again, whether or not Web API is the best thing to do it, there's another thing, because you got to take note that Web API does use a lot of performance kind of. It drives a lot of need in terms of you need more memory and stuff like that. Whereas APL is a bit more efficient. So if you're actually using APL, it's kind of pretty good that you stick to it if you can actually do that for simple stuff. But again, only for games, that's when you can do this with Alexa. So some of the restriction that you might need to take note of, and this is pretty important because sometimes you say, oh, anything can work on the screen, then you just plug in and oops, it doesn't work, right? So this is very important. So the browser capabilities that you cannot use, and this is disabled by default, right? There's no content URL access. Geolocation in the browser just doesn't work. I'm not sure that this might change the feature, but we'll see. Geolocation in the browser doesn't work because there's a lot of things about Alexa on the move now. So anyway, but for now it doesn't work. So loading a URL from a file, so you can actually load something from a file. Yeah, local file API, all the local storage stuff doesn't work, and you cannot use HTTP. It needs to be HTTPS. So if your web server does not have secure server certificate and stuff like that, you can't actually use it. Speech recognition, so you cannot, I mean, this will be confusing, right? Imagine you have something on the website that also has speech recognition and just be kind of you crash together, it doesn't work well with it. So web SQL database also doesn't work. Any kind of pop-ups, like if you do a alert pop-up, prompt pop-up, confirm pop-up JavaScript, that doesn't work. And okay, for some of you who are thinking, hey, maybe I can show a video chat or something like that. No, you can't do that. So you can't access the camera, you can't access the mic using the web page that's out there. So other than that, everything is good. So like you can actually play media on it, and this is pretty cool. Cookies, you can store cookies, you can have form data, you can have history. So again, be aware of all this, and these are all already on the website. The documentation is pretty good on where is that, on Alexa. So if you go and to the Alexa part of it, undergoing game skill, all this, be like go through all this documentation for you to before you kind of begin with this. So coming back to the this thing. So again, I don't know, Gotono, is there any questions so far?
Yeah, I was yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but there is actually a question from Xavi. I will show it on the screen. So it's asking which tech or framework do you recommend for the web app, and where do you deploy that app? So on the latter, I can answer. I mean, when I tested the web API for games, I just deployed the entire HTML page to an S3 packet in front of CloudFront. But please, I'll let you answer the question.
Yep. So, that's a good question. I mean, look, I'm very biased, right? I only kind of know what frameworks that I'm open to, in terms of the web API, in terms of JavaScript, framework for games. But I'm currently very bullish about Kaboom.js. Now I'll show you Kaboom.js a bit later. And the reason why Kaboom.js is, to me, is very good is because you can up and running immediately, just building up a game. You don't have to worry about sprites too much. They have a lot of these free skill and methods that you can actually use, and their tutorial is really awesome, right? And you can, they even got a multiplayer implementation if you guys want to try to do multiplayer WebSocket kind of thing. They got tutorials on that. They got tutorials on the stuff that I'll be showing you later is based on some of the tutorials that there are. So package it together into something that is then easy for you guys to do that. So again, after this thing, probably in a couple of days of time, I will be releasing the templates anyway, and you can just start from there and then hack it up something. So in terms of the hosting, like what Gatona say, S3 is fine. If you are into S3, you can actually use the S3 bucket to host. But the one that I would heavily, not heavily, but kind of recommend you maybe to have a look at is Replit. So which I'm going to show you a bit later, which is REPL.IT. Now Replit allows you to fire up quickly, and they actually have a Kaboom.js starter template. So you can, everything in Kaboom.js basically just start up the environment start up like that, and you can start programming Kaboom.js stuff. It gives you a URL with HTTPS. Now, the thing that you got to take note about Replit is that uh, it sometimes will spin down the web server, so it has to restart again. So what you might have to do is make sure that if you want, for me, I pay something like $7 a month or something like that to have multiple servers that can try out and stuff that can start excuse me start playing immediately and stuff like that. So they don't spin down, they don't go into kind of I think it's fine for most of the cases that you guys will have, because it will just take time for the first loading of the web API that's coming out there. The other thing you can have a look is Glitch as well, which I will. Sorry, have a bit of a drink.
Don't worry. So in the meantime, I have shared the link of Kaboom.js into the chat. And yeah, if you want to add something else, so to share the resources of the other two things you mentioned, which is REPL and the other hosting service, feel free to. Yeah, you might have access to the chat as well. So yeah, Xavi, let us know if that answers your question. Otherwise, you can reach out and we can expand on that.
Yeah,
So
we'll be in a Slack group and you guys can ask them.
thank you. Okay, so yeah,
So let's move on.
yeah, please.
Okay, sorry. So let's go into this. So this is the interaction, right, between the person and the Alexa skill and the web API. So the main thing here to see is the web app here and the Alexa skill, which is the Alexa backend. So the first thing that you need to do is it's basically just a more detailed version of it. But again, I'll point you to the main important things that you need to do. So the utterance, whenever a person actually start the skill, whatever, and say open, Alexa open voice thing or whatever. I don't want to say it too loud because the Alexa device might pick it up. But once you say that, a launch request will actually be uh, that's not me. I don't know why. Uh, Sorry, the launch request will actually be sent the HTML HTML so together with the kind of the URL, right? And then once that one is actually being sent out, the HTML start presentation HTML start with the URL will be processed by the backend that will then send back to your device so that the device can use this URL to actually then start displaying the game. So at this point of time, this becomes kind of bi-directional. You can actually go back and forth. And then that's when you where you on your JavaScript site that is on your web app site, you have to use the library. The client libraries normally you use Alexa as the kind of the object or the main object that is exported out. So you have to just create then an instance of it. So once the instance has been created, then these are the two things that you just have to play around with, which is send messages. Send messages will send messages back to the your skill backend, and then you also then have a callback that listen to the messages that is being sent from your skill to the web app by using this on message. So again, I don't want to confuse you a lot more than we should. Once we go through the code later on, it'll be a bit more clearer on how this actually being sent. So this goes back and forth, right? Until you say that you want to exit the screen, and then the session end request will be sent, and you're out of there. So I think it's kind of again this is when you come back to it this later you say, oh, okay, that's how it is. But for now it might be daunting for some of you who have just started using this, but just take note of this main stuff like presentation HTML start, Alexa create, send message and non message, which I will show and flag out a bit later. Okay, so is there any more questions? If not, we go directly to the code and I'll show you the two different parts of the code, the web app part and the skill part of it.
Yes, we can go on.
Okay, cool. So let's see which one to start off with. So we have two parts of it. So as you can see here, this is the Visual Studio Code that I have.
Sorry, Zulu, to interrupt. Can you increase the font? Yeah, thanks.
For sure. Okay, so let me show you some of the structure, right? So this is a typical Alexa skill, starter, whatever, boilerplate. Well, it's not boilerplate yet, but it's just a typical Alexa skill, right? So we got the Lambda directory, right? And we got the skill package where you have the interaction models. Sorry, I only have GB. Sorry for people in the US. But this is where you tell what kind of intent that you want to load and the utterances, right? So there's the normal stuff. That's pretty much straightforward. This is an Alexa hosted skill, by the way, but I'm just editing it on my local VS Code. You can obviously can also edit this in the Alexa developer console for some of you. So you don't need anything special on your local to do this. So the main part of this is we got the index.js, which is the main the entry point for most of the for most Alexa skill. right? You probably do not need to look into all these other stuff. So the other main, well, util.js always comes with an LSA skill, so that's just in the background. So the main thing here, index.js and web API.js. Now I'll share this code later on. Not now, but probably in a couple of days' time. I need to clean it up a bit before integrating it together and putting as a boilerplate code you guys can use. But don't worry about copying this down or doing this kind of stuff. So let's go to the the index. Okay, let's go to the index part of it. So as you can see here, there's nothing extra that actually load up onto this thing. There's only the Ask SDK call, and this other thing called Web API. Now, please note that you do not need anything extra. This Web API part that you see here is just kind of my own wrapper around some of the things so that it's easier for you to load stuff. It's more a convenient kind of thing, and it's very transparent. So it's not in an npm package or whatever. It's actually down here. So you can see here, it's actually just this big web API part, which has some constants and some functions. And we'll go through some of this. So let's go back to the index. So, okay, so the main thing here is the URL, right? So just one sec. Sorry, I mean this place a bit dry because it's all closed up. So yeah. Okay, so this web app based URL, right, is something that you have to actually provide to the Alexa part of it, because this where Alexa will use this in the backend to go and tell your Alexa device, right, to load up that page. So your Alexa device that is on the one that you're interacting with will actually load up this particular URL. So I put some convenient stuff here, which is just web app, a local URL in case you want to use, for more advanced people, you want to use ngrok and stuff like that. If this one's actually defined, it will use this local web URL to actually load the web page itself. So let me just put through. Sorry. Okay. So the main thing here that I want to highlight. So this is I always go backwards. We always go from the bottom. Sorry. So the skill builders, right? So this is normal stuff. So you can take a look here. The launch request handler is nothing that is kind of not new to every one of you. If you started, I mean, you always come across launch request handler. But we got the hello world intent handler and also the movement intent handler. These two are the ones that kind of the focus point. The rest are just boilerplate codes that you see here, like help, cancel, fallback, and I wouldn't go into that for the purpose of this particular walkthrough. So let's take a look at what the launch request handler do, because that's the main thing that kind of the first starting point. So sorry,
Sorry, Zulu,
can
to interrupt you. So, how about we show what, so the end product first? So we show what we want to achieve, and then
okay.
we do the walkthrough, so the audience is
Got you.
aware
Okay.
of what we'll
You're right.
be seeing.
You're right. You're right. Sorry about that. Okay, so maybe okay, you got a point there. So maybe what we can do is let's park this thought initially.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at what the end product is going to be. So I'm going to try to load it up on my Alexa device now.
Okay.
Okay. So we're building a program. So I'm going to stop sharing this.
You can change your webcam.
Okay. Sorry. Can you guys see? All right. Can you see, Gotono?
Yes. So your device is in full screen right now.
Okay. So we're going to build something which is kind of you guys know about this. So it's a snake game skill, right? So it's a very simple thing where the snake goes around and then eating apples and grows longer the more apples it eat, and also only try to not bite itself kind of thing. So it goes around and we have controls and we can tell the snake to go up or down or whatever. So we're just going to load it up using the command. Hopefully, you can recognize. Alexa, open voice snake. Alexa, open voice snake. Sorry, guys, this is wrong. Alexa, exit. Alexa, open voice snake. Hello. Starting the snake game. What's your move? Down. Going down. What next? Right. Going right. What next? Up. Going up. What next? Alexa, exit. Okay, I'm going to swap over to back to my screen.
That's very cool. So yeah.
Yeah.
So the web
So
behavior games lets you interact with the web page.
yeah, when I first did it, it kind of doesn't make sense because it's too fast. But when I try to play it, in terms of trying the functionality of it on Fire TV and whatever, and you slow down the snake a bit more, it becomes quite good because you have to time the voice command enough because there's a delay between what you say to what it needs to happen on the screen. So it is quite challenging. So anyway, it's a very simple game as I say. So we'll take a look at the share back the screen at the moment.
Yep.
And you're right, good to know. Sorry about it. I should have look at it from the web API portion of it rather than the skill portion of it. Okay, so let's go into the okay. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Sorry, so pushing too much. So many different screens. Okay, so here is Replit. So repl.it, right? If you go to Replit, any kind of you can sign up. It's free for you to actually use and practice. And the cool stuff that I like about it is that you can set up the web server almost immediately and start playing with it. So like this, I actually did some of this on my Twitch channel, and it was done kind of impromptu kind of thing. Just set up if you want uh something to fire up, you can fire up within like 2 minutes or so. You can have your web server up and running. So you can see here, this is a code that is actually on the web portion of it. Do not confuse that with the other code that I have, which is the Alexa part of it. So this is the Alexa backend, and this is the web portion of it, right? So as you can see here, Replit also allows you, right? And to kind of reiterate the stuff that I was showing you just now, that it does not have to be the same. You can develop the things separately, right? So the way that I've built this up initially is to, let's not worry about the Alexa commands part of it, but think about where you can embed those commands inside. So let's build a snake game first. So that's where the approach was initially. So the snake game here, if you can see, you can actually press play here, and Replit will actually give you a URL. You see here, voice snake gozulu.repl.co. This is exactly what I actually put inside here, right, into the Alexa skill. And as you can see here, I mean, kind of because it's small, you can type here and immediately things could change. So let's say the word hello here, right? I don't want to begin the game. I can say today. So to say hello to start the game, you can say something like that, and immediately, right? Yeah, it actually will change to start the game. So it's kind of a very good cyclical kind of develop test kind of thing. And you find this useful because even right now, this is actually live. So the skill that I show you just now when I loaded up, it was actually in my developer account. It's in development, so it's actually live. It's not live in production, but whenever I change this, immediately I can go back to my device and test it on the device. So the cycle is becomes very interactive, very fast. You can also take out this URL and put it onto a big screen like this. Okay, again, don't worry about this. The reason why this is so is because it's kind of centering it across it, but the device is actually the multimodal device is this much. We probably have to take a look at the portrait changes and stuff like that, but that's beyond the topic of what we need to cover today. So anyway, so you can actually now this game here, if you can take a look, I can actually play it now. So I can actually press spacebar to simulate the hello. I change it to become a spacebar. So I can use the cursor key to actually do this. Up, right, down, right. So you got to know, you got something?
I have a question, Zulu.
Yep.
So how can you know from your web app if this is running on Alexa or not? Because I noticed a banner at the top, and I guess there is some way for your web page to understand where is it running, right?
Correct. I'll show you exactly that. That's a very good question because a lot when I first started, it takes a while for me to actually understand this as well. So I'll show you here. So you go here, inside here. Sorry. So there is initially I have this thing called load script. So it's not actually okay. So the reason why I have to do it this way is because of the way Replit does things. They don't allow you to kind of embed either the normal way in which you normally you would just embed in the script header tag, right? So to load any kind of uh, this one, right? Normally you just put into the script header tag and then it will just load automatically. But because if you do that, then sometimes you can't control the loading and then taking a look at whether it's loaded or not and stuff like that sometimes. But the way that I do it, I explicitly load the script and then pass in the URL of what to load, and then after that have a callback function for init Alexa. Right, so that's the way that it does this. So load the script and init Alexa, and then here, right, it goes into loading the script, callback, and then hit append the child to script, whatever. Uh, and then inside here, you take a look at the Alexa create. You can see here, I have a catch that actually catch for any error, right? Then I set the Alexa client to null. There was an error creating the Alexa client. So that way, then I actually know that it's actually running on Alexa. So very simply inside the part where you actually create. Remember the diagram that we show initially just now. the part where you should create here. So that part, you just make sure that you cache it to make sure, and then you can set whatever variable to show that it's not running on Alexa. And this I check throughout to make sure that if it's actually on, it's actually set, then we don't do any funny stuff like the interactive with Alexa or expecting any message to come through. So that way, then you can test both with and without Alexa. Does
Okay.
that answer the question?
Yeah.
Very
Thank you.
straightforward, yeah. Straightforward, yeah. Okay. But it takes me a while to figure out the catch part of it here. But it's in the documents as well, I think. Oh man, my throat is so dry. um, okay, so again, let's go through this, and I don't want to bore you with most of the kind of Kaboom JS stuff because you can learn it from the tutorial whatsoever, right? So I do have a function here that show the message. So anything pass here like this one, not running on the Alexa, as is shown on the screen. The main part here is that this init Alexa that everyone has to have, right? So this will actually create, right, the Alexa object, right? And if what's actually created, the main thing here that you have to register is this callback function. So Alexa client, right, which is actually just the variable name for the Alexa. It actually comes through here. This part here, Alexa will actually be the response object, I think what it's called. Let me sorry. So if you kind of stuck whatever, you can always go back here and you take a look here inside the Alexa JavaScript API. This is very useful, and you take a look at here. So Alexa ready payload is the what the promise actually created. So this Alexa ready payload comprises of Alexa and the message here, right? So if you go back to where we are just now, which is this one. So remember here, Alexa message. So it's being passed back whenever you create. So you got two things, Alexa and message. And then once that happens, you say that Alexa loaded is actually true. The Alexa client, we just kind of to differentiate between this. There's too many Alexa everywhere. So we have the Alexa client then dot skill dot on message. So message comprises of anything that's actually being sent from your skill backend to here, right? So to show you, so it's actually listening, right, for anything that comes from your Alexa skill backend, and this message can be whatever JavaScript object or that you want to actually receive. In this case, the way that I do it is I have a .cmd, right? And this is thanks to Justin Jeffers and Joe McCall last time when they were doing the my character skill. And they have this way of like capturing this stuff and and self-organizing it. So I learned a lot from those Twitch session that they have. So the command then take a look at whether it's left, up, down, or right, and then just tell the snake to move left, up, down, or right. That's about it. And then once this callback is already registered, you just basically fire and forget. It just runs, and then whenever a message comes through, it just move the snake up, down, left, or right. But if it's not one of those command, then it just for debugging purposes, it just show the message on the screen, right? I mean, normally you wouldn't have anything that is not sent unless that you don't want to send from the other side. So let me show you where this one is actually being sent. Just 1 second, got the notes. My battery just a bit low. Okay, so that's loading. Any questions so far?
Not from the chat, but I have one. So I see that you have a part in the code here that says so does different stuff based on the message that the skill receives. And so my question is there an intent in the skill code that sends message to the web app,
Yes,
or how the
this
skill can send it? I think we will get into it later, but I have this curiosity.
no, I think maybe it's good for us to take a look at this comparison. Because the way that you're thinking is most probably where everybody else is also thinking that way as well, right?
Yes, I'm making this question,
Uh,
keeping in mind that maybe there
yeah,
are skilled developers here that know what an intent is and all the interaction model and
yeah,
everything, but they didn't maybe
yeah.
connect this with a web app
Correct.
before.
Correct. So this is the web app. So the web app is listening for these messages that's being sent from the skill, and the way that the skill, uh, uh, sorry, it's not. Okay. So the intent that is on the other side, right? So let's have a look. Oh, sorry, it was command here. Okay. So if you take a look here, right, we have very simply the. So you got to know you got a question?
No. Just go on.
Okay, no. Movement intent handler, right, is the one that is actually going to be looking at the intent. So that I got a down intent, I got the up intent, right? Go up, move up, snake up, please go up for polite people. Right intent and then left intent. And that translate, right? All these intents are basically sum up uh, into the index.js under this thing called movement intent handler. So if you take a look at this movement intent handler, it'll handle the down intent, up intent, left intent, and right intent. So once you actually hear somebody says up, right, or down or whatever, it comes into here, and this part will take over. Uh, and then it then take a look at the exact thing, which is either down, up, or left, or right, and then it put that as current direction, and then it says, oh, this is just to see it going up, whatever, so that people will know that is yes, it hear what you have to say, what command you have to say, it goes up and down, and then from there, right, it will then send this directive. So you have to send a directive, and this directive I conveniently put into wrapper here. That basically send web API message directive. To send a directive back to the web. And remember, we have the command that I told before. So that I showed before, command, and then the payload and the message type, which is a command type. This is just you can do whatever structure that you want to actually pass through here, but this part here is so that conveniently inside here I can take a look that it's actually a type because that you can do several stuff. You can tell the web API, hey, this is a command. I want you to do something, right? Or you can say something like I don't know, the different thing like start. Hey, I want to start for you to restart everything, right? I want you to speak something, right? Or just this is for information. Do not to speak it. Just do something without you speaking out and or I saying anything. So that part there was the web API message there, right? So this is the one that actually sends out the send web API message command. And you can see here it's just a very simple uh, directive that actually been set. So from the intent, up, down, left, right, I map it out. So then put it into a nice kind of message package here, right? And then after that, use the directive called alexa.presentation.html.handle message, and then sends it out. And this will actually go out as a response back, and then it will then go to the backend, and the backend will then tell the backend will then inform the web API, hey, this person wants to, this is the message that I've just received, please process it. So that's where this guy here processing it here.
Yes, that was actually the part where I wanted to get at. There is a directive that you can send from your intent handler to basically talk with the web app. So Zulu here created a web API.js to make it to create a wrapper around. But feel free, you can. So is it true that you can directly send this directive from the code from the intent
Yeah, you
handler?
can just cut and paste this and put into the intent handler. It doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
So it's just the way that we do it is a bit more systematic. And the reason why I do this way because building kind of a template boilerplate to have a framework kind of thing around it. So it's easier for you to handle all this stuff. Because for a beginner, right, they might not even know what directive is.
Correct.
So with this, you just wrap it out and then you'll just send out the directive for them. So you don't have to worry too much. Okay,
Great.
so we have around 6 minutes. I'm just conscious of the time here. So I'll show you jump to the part where is which is not in here, but what if you want to actually send message back to from the web API to the skill, right? There are there are occasion where you want to tell the skill that yes, something whatever, like play score or or score up or exit or whatever things like that that you want to actually do that, right? So you can actually do that, but it's not actually kind of not embedded here for the matter of it, but it's encapsulated into the API, sorry, the part which is down here under the web API, right? So if you take a look here, there's this thing called web message handler, right? So if you want to see something coming back from your web and you want, I don't know what you want to do. For instance, I think one good thing to note is that the arrow keys that I programmed for the web API, up, down, left, right. So that's on the keyboard. But if you actually have a Fire TV, the remote on the Fire TV is actually also an arrow key thing. So I was surprised because I just took a remote and start playing using my arrow key instead of using my voice, and it still works on the Fire TV. So that's one thing that's kind of cool for you to note. You can actually check whether the Fire TV actually supports that as well. There's in the client. I think probably for another time we can go a bit deeper into some of this advanced stuff. But this is the part where the web message handler. So all you need to do is just put this web message handler, right? You see the format is still the same, can handle. So you just have to listen, right? For the request type called Alexa presentation HTML message, right? And then decide what you want to try to do with it, right? So let's say for instance from my web API, I just want to send something and says, hey, speak something, say the high score, right? So let's say on my web API part, the web page, I say the person eat a snake, and then actually the snake eat an apple, and then he got 1 point, and I want it to tell Alexa to say, hey, say that the score has increased by 1. So I can do that here by sending out from the other side, right? And the other side is called send message, right? And on here, uh, let me just pull out this the beautiful diagram again just now. So you see here, there's two things, right? On message is to listen for things. Send message is from the JavaScript client. You can send back to your skill. So that's the part. So you just send a message there, and then on your client side, on your Alexa skill side, you get this send message payload that is being passed over here, and then you take out that message, which is whatever message I send across that. So in this case, it just say that's a message to speak. And then I'll just put and then the payload, whatever the payload, it just pick out that particular message. Again, here is just sample stuff that I show implementation, just in case you want to do one without reprom, one with no reprom, and this one is just an FYI. That means you don't even have to speak it. So if you want to say something that the player has died, exit the skill, you can also send a message. That's message type info, right? Again, this one is not part of the normal web API implementation, but I'm just showing this to because you can also put whatever in the payload, right? So this one is just convenient for me to make it a more organized in a better way to actually know what is actually being sent from the web API. So I think
Okay.
that's pretty much covered.
Thank you very much for all of this. So we have 2 minutes left, and I'd like to use this time to wrap a bit things up. So first, thank you again for putting all this together. That's very, very much appreciated. My question would be, will this be available to the public so that people that want to start can use it?
Correct. So if you actually go to my repo, I think I don't know. Sorry, I'm not in the. Where's my chat?
You can share it in the chat if you want.
Yeah. So if you just watch into my repo, I'm trying to find the StreamYard. Okay, got it. There you go. Just one sec. So I'll put in the chat under private.
No comments. You should be able to paste it in there as well.
Oh, comments. Okay. I'll put in the comments. I actually can't put the comments because I'm not logged in.
Okay,
So I'll
so
put github.com.
share it with me, and I can paste it.
Okay. Let's have it.
Okay, so the repository is gonna be available here. I just share it.
Yeah.
Let me put it in here as well.
Okay, and if you want to start with the bigger thing, that's the main thing is the one more thing here. That one is the main phaser implementation of it. But again, like I said before, the feedback I got from this is people think it's a bit too heavyweight. So I'm going to remove TypeScript, make it just plain JavaScript, and just put Kaboom.js into it. And that's the snake game that you just saw just now. Just need to clean it out a bit before we send. So probably in the next 1 day or 2 days, if you go to that page, you'll be able to see it.
Okay, thank you very much. So it just ran out of time. I wanted to add that this session is gonna be saved in our Twitch and YouTube channel. So feel free to go there and add additional comments if you want us to address them. And thank you very much for joining. See you next time. Next session is gonna be next Friday. So looking forward to see you there. Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you guys.